Now, Israeli naval forces have seized a Gaza-bound humanitarian ship in international waters, taking it to the port city of Ashdod, south of the occupied territories. Israeli forces surrounded the vessel, which was sailing closer to the besieged enclave. The Swedish-flagged Marianne of Gothenburg is part of the Flotilla 3, which is a convoy of 4 ships. Following the interception, the Freedom Flotilla posted online a pre-recorded video message calling for international help.
If you see this video, this means that we are under attack on international waters by the Israeli Defense Forces. I want to call out for your help. Please spread this message and act. Try to get your politicians to act and stand up against this crime against international law. We are a peaceful ship. We are going to Gaza with goods and with solidarity. So I urge you all to act as harsh as you can.
The ship was carrying a number of pro-Palestinian activists on a mission to raise international awareness about the situation of the besieged Gaza Strip. The 3 other vessels escorting the flagship went back to their port in Europe. Back in 2010, a raid by Israeli commandos on the Turkish ferry Mavi Marmara left 10 activists dead. Other similar attempts have also been halted several times, but without bloodshed. Israel imposed its blockade on the impoverished Gaza Strip in 2007. To discuss that further, I'm joined with Ms. Vanessa Bailey, who is an activist, and she's joining us live now via Skype from the French capital, Paris. Ms. Bailey, as always, thanks for joining us. How are you feeling now that this Freedom Flotilla 3 has been stopped and taken to Ashdod?
Well, I mean, there was a certain inevitability about obviously the boarding of the vessel. We all knew to some extent that this was going to happen and that Israel was never going to allow the boat to break the so-called blockade, which is an illegal blockade. But, you know, again and again these days, we are seeing proof of the barefaced arrogance of Israel. I believe that the Prime Minister's office prepared a letter for the soldiers to give to the activists on board, basically saying that they probably were sailing to the wrong place and they should be going to Syria, where Assad is massacring his own people with the help of Iran. So once again, they're even using this situation, this humanitarian effort, to promote their own insane agenda in the region, which we know to be to eventually attack Iran, whom they consider to be their biggest threat in the region. They simply don't care anymore. The impunity that they've been accorded by our governments, the international community, the UN, through their actions or through their inactions, is what is allowing them to behave in such a cavalier, incredibly arrogant way.
I'm wondering, and I'm glad you brought up the accordance that is given to Israel and the international community, because you're sitting in France, and earlier I was speaking to a Canadian activist too, and it's courageous activists like yourself who usually lead these sort of freedom flotillas. So I'm wondering, does this deter you? Because your own governments are obviously now passing laws saying things like any criticism of Israel is anti-Semitism, etc., etc. Does this deter pro-Palestinian activists?
Absolutely not. I think, if anything, it strengthens our resolve. How can we be deterred when the people of Palestine are living through life under the Israeli jackboot on a daily basis? We can't turn away from that. Yes, our governments are now trying to basically hamstring us, silence us in any way they can. They're infiltrating organizations that are presumably pro-Palestinian to ensure that there's zero tolerance of anti-Semitism is upheld and is punished by law. Yes, France and the UK now is certainly one of the worst hit in Europe by these policies of zero anti-Semitism, where we're soon not going to be allowed officially to investigate or to expose any, shall we say, thinly veiled Zionist agenda that is hiding behind Jewish institutions in France. That's the aim of this these anti-Semitism laws that are being put through now.
Okay, we'll leave it there at that. But as always, Ms. Bailey, we do sincerely appreciate your insight. That was Vanessa Bailey, who was speaking to us live from Paris.